What's up YouTube? Negroni here, and today we're gonna do a 6-month review, little update on my Rolex GMT Master II 126710 BLRO. I'll be talking about why I wanted this watch, how I got this watch at retail, and what it's been like. You know, how is it faring? How is the Rolex GMT Master doing? Do I still love this watch? Does it live up to the hype? Before we get started, customary Negroni. Also, wristwatch. Today I'm wearing my newest pickup. It is my Cartier Tank Louis, rose gold, large size. If you haven't checked out my video where I did a double unboxing, this was one of the Cartiers included in that double unboxing. You'll get a closer look at the watch, what it looks like on my wrist, and initial impressions of the watch. Yeah, there's the beautiful, timeless Cartier Tank. Manually wound. Let's see. Yeah, beautiful watch. We're gonna put that to the side, and we're gonna put on the Rolex GMT Master. So, what made me lust over this watch to begin with? Little backstory. I've told this story briefly in one of my videos, but it's important, so I'll go over it again. Back in 2017, I was pretty deep in the watch hobby already and chasing that next piece, that pushing the limits of my budget, every piece that I got. And at the time, I really admired the 16710 previous generation, aluminum bezeled GMT Master II. The combination of the thinner oyster case, 40 millimeters, bicolor bezel, GMT movement really drew me in. But even further, I love the idea of having a travel watch. A watch that would accompany you on all of your vacations, your trips, your weekend getaways, you know, your overnight stays. A watch that would carry on those memories long after the trip is over. I'm a real sucker for the sentimental side of watch collecting. In fact, it's why I love these little objects. But there was one issue. I loved modern Rolex. I wanted a modern watch to be my travel companion. I wanted modern Rolex, modern construction, modern bracelet, modern technology. I wanted the water resistance. I didn't want to worry about a vintage watch. Part of that story I wanted to tell was of a brand new watch. I wanted to get this watch from an authorized AD. I wanted to put it on my wrist and start creating memories. So I maintained that I would wait until Rolex introduced a steel modern Pepsi into their catalog. Lo and behold, in 2018, Rolex answered everybody's prayers, and that very watch was introduced at Baselworld. Modern construction, ceramic bezel. This was going to be my travel watch. Very quickly after the introduction, maybe a little hastily, I sold my beloved Subaru WRX at the time. I love that car. So I'm telling this as part of the story to highlight just how much I wanted this watch. But unfortunately, this was just the beginning of the end. This release almost marks the beginning of when watch prices just got out of hand. Well, actually, it was probably the release of the Rolex Daytona ceramic in conjunction with Paul Newman Daytona that sold for an ungodly amount. It was simply unattainable, and I refused to pay the secondary market prices that just kept skyrocketing, it would seem, by the week. So I forgot about it for a little while. I moved on to other pieces. I explored other brands. I bought other Rolexes, but I never forgot about the Rolex GMT Master II Pepsi. So time passed by, the seasons passed by, and I decided that it was time. It was time for me to go after this watch. It was time for me to do everything and anything that I could to get this watch at retail. I knew that I wouldn't settle for any alternatives, that only the Pepsi would do. I also knew that I had to build a genuine relationship with the Rolex AD, possibly build up a spending history in these ADs, build a little trust. So at the time, there was an AD that I visited quite often, expressed my interest. However, I never got any calls. So I decided to look around other ADs. Finally, I found a retailer that I felt comfortable with. More importantly, I found a salesperson that was honest and open about the process of getting Steel Sports. So I started buying, I started visiting, I expressed my interest from the point of view of a watch enthusiast. At the time, I was 29 years old, and somewhere in the back of my head, I had high hopes that I could somehow be offered this Rolex GMT Master II Pepsi by my 30th birthday. I don't know why 30 is so special to me. I don't know. What is it about 30? Does it mean like, maybe it means I'm grown up or something. Yeah, like the 20s are over and it's time to be a man, Chris. It's time to be a man. You're 30 years old. That's probably just another reason to buy a watch. Yeah. It meant something to me. It was special. So maybe you're wondering, what did I buy? Me and my wife made thoughtful purchases that benefited both the retailer and us as consumers. We bought a very special diamond ring for my wife. We bought multiple jewelry pieces that served as gifts for an assortment of different occasions. I was offered a separate Rolex. We purchased my father-in-law a Tudor Black Bay 58 for a retirement gift. My wife picked up her own Black Bay 58, blue, kind of to match her father. Yeah, I was still pretty jealous about that watch. It's a good watch. Believe it or not, these were all purchases that we wanted to make. They worked out well. I continued to visit, maybe once a month, once every other month, just check in, come say hi, and continue to express my interests, all without being annoying or overbearing in any way. Don't be annoying, guys. They talk shit about those people, all right? They probably talk shit about me, honestly. Anyways, so that's how the year goes. We made our purchases, checked in, we brought coffee. I was very patient with this, which is very rare considering some of the traits that I have. And the last watch I made a video about next watch, and then here it is. Anyways, check out that video if you want. Shows how hasty I can be. Talked about some watches and how I wanted to buy a watch. I had scratched that itch, and sure as hell I did. Now, I can't say that I wasn't getting a little impatient, because I was. It's frustrating, you know? You thought you did everything you can to get offered this watch. And I know that the list for this watch was super long, and I wasn't the only one doing this. I wasn't the only one making purchases, visiting, and I'm not the only one that wanted the watch to wear. But, this is why you don't lose hope. 2 days before my birthday, I got the call. I got the call from my salesman. It was totally unexpected. It was amazing. I felt so lucky. I felt so lucky to be able to buy a Rolex. I know, that sounds terrible. It really does. But I was lucky. I was blessed. But it happened. It played out almost perfectly as I wanted in my head. My salesman went to bat for me when the time came, because I continued to go to bat for him and the retailer. So, 6 months later, how has the Pepsi fared? Do I still love it? I'm gonna flip the camera over. We're gonna take a closer look at the watch. I'm gonna go ahead and make myself another Negroni. And and I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, and we're back. I definitely poured myself a double, if not triple. Here's my baby. Again, here's my latest pickup, and here's the watch in question. My Rolex GMT Master II, one of the most meaningful watches in my collection, a watch I would never part with. As you can see, I haven't shied away from wearing this watch. Despite the monetary value of this watch, I wear this like any other piece of my collection. If I'm running errands, have this on, I don't think twice. If I'm going to the gym that day and I have this watch on my wrist, she's coming with me. I'm never selling this watch. I don't plan on polishing it. I don't see the reason why, because it's my watch. I'm just gonna scratch it again. Yeah, I'm not really concerned with everyday wear and tear. Look at the bracelet. Tons of scratches. This is highly polished area. I mean, there's no getting around that unless you just don't wear the watch. I'm gonna scratch it up. So this watch wears perfect in my opinion. I love the clasp, the GMT models versus the Submariners, the real chunky, bigger, thicker clasps. The Jubilee bracelet is holding up perfectly. Really isn't showing much wear, which is kind of the magic of the Jubilee bracelet with these modern construction links. To me, this bracelet is more comfortable than an Oyster, and because the links are much smaller, it hides the scratches despite the highly polished mid links. The bezel turns perfectly. Sounds great. Here's a little sound clip. As far as timing, I'm getting about -1 to -2 seconds a day, right in the middle of that. So it's within the superlative chronometer certification. So I do plan on engraving this watch. Like I said, this watch is gonna stay in my collection. I don't plan on selling it, but I wanted some time to think about it. I thought, how cool would it be to take this piece on vacation somewhere, use the GMT function, and get it engraved somewhere, like on a trip by some engraver that I found. I'm just very undecided on what to engrave. Maybe you guys can help me out. What do you think? Help me out. What should I engrave on the back of this watch? I kind of like what I did on the back of the Cartier. I did Negroni. Showed that in my other video. I don't know, but it's really small. It's kind of cool to me. Maybe that could be my thing. Actually, why don't you guys go ahead and give your suggestions down in the comments. Like I said, I wanted to get this engraved on a trip, but I'm also located in California. So if you guys know any engravers that do kind of unique engravings, let me know. I'll consider it. So yeah, I would say this is a perfect Rolex. Perfect kind of story and getting this watch. Perfect call. What more could I ask? I mean, I remember saying that this watch was my grail back when it was first released. I mean, it's crazy, guys. I know that I have new grails now. I mean, what is this hobby doing to us? Is this even a hobby? Actually, I heard someone say that the watch hobby isn't a hobby at all. It's more like a sickness. We all have a sickness. What do you guys think? I mean, yeah, I would say that's not far off, but I love it. I'm really leaning into the sickness, the YouTube journey, and kind of sharing my love for watches. And isn't part of the fun kind of in the chase? I don't know. One thing is for sure, this watch is everything I could have wanted. It definitely lives up to the hype, and I definitely still love this watch. Is it because I got it for my 30th birthday? That might be so, but I still love the design. But the story behind it and what it means to me definitely kind of cements it as a special watch in my collection. So that's it, guys. My 6-month review update on the Rolex GMT Master II 126710 BLRO. If you guys like this video, please give me a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel, help me grow. Subscribe. Seriously, give me some comments, some suggestions on engravings for this watch, you guys. I would love to engrave this and make this meaningful watch even more meaningful. I love that idea of engravings. I know some people aren't for engravings, you know, they want to retain the value, but I'm seriously, this would be the last Rolex to leave my collection. So give me your suggestions in the comments. You know, I'll definitely take a look. I like interacting with you guys in the comments, so if you guys have any questions for me about this video, constructive criticism, it's all good. I am a big boy, I can take it. Thank you for watching, and cheers.